Hello friend, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to my channel, Laser Graphics and Multimedia. And in today's video, you are going to learn how to create more than visiting card in Photoshop step-by-step tutorial. But before we dive deep into the tutorial, if you're very new to this channel, remember to click on the subscribe, turn on the notification bell so each time I post content about Photoshop tutorial, you'll be notified. So with that being said, let's dive into the tutorial and see how you can create a print-ready visiting card in Photoshop. So let's begin. The first thing you need to do is to come to the home tab right here. Make sure you click on file and make sure you click on new. Alright, so the next thing you want to do right here is to come to the top right here and you have to type in your design title, which is visiting card. Then you have to come from pixels. Make sure you change from pixels to inches right here. Then you have to come to the width column. At the width column here, make sure you 3.25. Then you have to move to the height column. So under the height column, you have to type in 1.75. Then you have to come to resolution column. For resolution column, you have to type in 300. Then from the color column right here, you have to switch from RGB to CMYK. Finally, you come down below here and make sure you click on create. Your ruler right here, make sure you take your ruler, both horizontal and vertical, and make sure it snaps to the page. Next thing you want to do right here is to come to the home tab right here, go to image, then look for canvas size. Then from the point here, make sure you type in 0.25 for the width. Come to the height and make sure you type in 0.25 and click on OK. Then the next thing you want to do is to grab your ruler, both vertical and horizontal. Then make sure it snaps to the page. Then the next thing you want to do is to go back to home tab right here, go to image, look for canvas size. At the point right here, make sure you type 0.25 for the width. Come to the height column, make sure you type in 0.25 and you hit on OK. At this point now, the next thing to do is to start to play with shapes and see how we can create a visiting card in Photoshop. So the next thing you need to do right here is to go to your toolbar, click and hold down. This time around, make sure you choose your pen tools. Having chosen your pen tools, you have to come to the pen tools property. From the side here, make sure shape is checked. And make sure you come to color. You can pick any color of your choice from this point right here. Then you come to the workspace and you make some shapes. So I'm going to start from the bottom right here, and I'll make a part. I will make a shape this way. Then I'll close. The next thing I'm going to do is to go back to my layer right here. I'm going to select my background layer. Then I will select my background layer. Then I will make another shape. I will start from the top right here, this way. Then I'll close the part right here. Then I'll come to the shape property and I will change the color. Good. Next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I select on this particular first shape layer right here from my layer panel. Then I'll come down below right here. I will make sure I create a new layer. Then at the point here, I will make another shape this way. Then I'll close the part right here. Okay, I can come to the shape property right here and we'll change the color also. Good. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to select this particular layer right here, and then I'll press Ctrl T to open the transform tools. Then I'll press Ctrl key down. I'm going to make this more tiny. Once you're satisfied with the adjustments, you have to come to the top right here. Make sure you click on this check mark to approve the transform. Next thing I want to do right here is to go back to my layer right here. I'll select my background layer again. Having selected my background layer, then I'll go back to my pen tool right here. I'll make sure I choose my pen tool. After I choose my pen tool, I'll come to the pen tool property. I will change the color right here. Then I will make sure shape is checked. Then I'll come to the workspace. I will make another. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to go back to my layer panel right here. I'll make sure I choose my background layer again. Having choose my background layer, then I will use my pen tool to make another shape this way. Now come to the color right here. I will change this color to black. All right, so I'm going to select my move tool. So this time around, the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I change all these particular shape and give a very befitting nice color. So we can start from this point right here. I'm going to select on this shape and then I'll go to my layer panel right here. I will double click on the layer thumbnail. Then I'll pick my color from here. So right here, you can see the color code I use for this. Then I'll click on OK. Now select on this particular shape here. I will double click on the layer thumbnail. Then I'll make sure I choose this color. So you can see the same color code right here. Okay, and then I'll click on OK. Then I'll select on this shape right here. I will double click on the layer thumbnail. Then with my high color drop, I can select on this one right here, but this time around I need this type of dark red. Then I'll click on OK. Then I have to select this particular dark shape right here, and I'll come to the layer panel, double click on the layer thumbnail. Then I'll make sure I pick my dark color from this type of blue right here. Then I'll click on OK. Next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I locate this layer right here. And I locate this layer, all these three layers, I have to locate them. So we can start from this particular one here, and we press Shift key on our keyboard and select this. And what I'm going to do is to come right here and make sure I click on group layer. Now we have them in a single file. Then we have to right click on the group layer. Then I have to make sure I change the shadow direction. Okay, So I can make the distance. I can reduce the distance of the shadow from this point right here. Then the spread. Then the size needs to be reduced. I have to come here and I'll make sure I choose 100% black. So you can see the color code right here. So I'll come to the top right here and make sure I click on OK. Then I can increase the spread to 5%. I can take the distance to 10%. I can increase the spread a little bit more to 8%. Then the size can be 10%. And you make sure the blend mode is remain normal. And you come to the top right here, make sure you click on OK. So the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I select this particular layer right here. And then I'll have to go to Home tab right here. I'll click on File. Then make sure you click on Place Embedded. Then you have to come to the layer panel right here, right click on the image layer and make sure you choose Create Clipping Mask. Then you come to the blend mode right here and make sure you choose luminosity.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah, but I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, put your hand to the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but